Hello and welcome to the UiPath Test Manager Deep Dive course. In this demo, we'll explore the functionalities of Test Manager, make some custom configurations, and create a new project. Finally, we'll briefly go over the modules of a Test Manager project. This is the Test Manager login screen. Here we can change the tenant name and enter the username or email address and the corresponding password. Let's now click on Login, and we will get to the Test Manager homepage in the tenant that we've entered. On the upper side, we have this drop-down that we can use to select one of the visible projects, or search for any existing project, including those not visible here. As we click on a project name, we'll get to the Projects page. On the upper right, we have the User menu with the user details, language, and logout button. Then we have the Settings menu with the two options. We can navigate either to Users and Groups, or to Application Settings. Under Users and Groups, there are different tabs to segregate the different types of users. In the All tab, we have all the users combined. In the Users tab, we will get to see the regular users who will be working on Test Manager projects. The Administrators tab contains all the users with administrator permissions on this tenant. The Pending Authorization tab is for users who have requested access. Admins will be able to approve the requests using this tab. As for the Disabled tab, this is for the users with access suspended to the tenant. Now let's go to Application Settings. The first tab here, Email, allows us to configure the outgoing emails. As for the Search Index tab, it is for faster search. Now let's go back to the home page. Here we have two tabs, one for projects which the user marked as favorite, and another one for all the projects added on this tenant. The search function comes in very handy here. On the other hand, we can create a new project using this button here. When we click on it, we will get this pop-up. We'll enter the name of the project and the prefix. This one is typically between 3 and 5 characters, and it's very important. It's basically the unique identifier for your project. After a project is created, this prefix will be added to all the object IDs within the project. Please keep in mind that, after a project is created, the prefix cannot be changed. Okay, now we can click Create. Now we're in the project we've created. You can see that by the name displayed in the drop-down. On the left-hand side, we can see the different modules available to us in the Test Manager project. Let's start with the dashboard. Here we can see the Results Overview dashboard, as well as the value of the typical KPIs for our project. Then we have the Requirements module, where we can create new requirements, or update existing ones. If there are integrations available with third-party tools, we can sync the requirements from those corresponding ALM tools and have them displayed here. Let's go further to test cases. We can create new test cases, or we can update those that were already created. The Test Sets module is for test execution. We can manually execute the existing test cases appearing in the previous module, or we can link to test sets in Orchestrator and trigger their execution from here as well. The results of every manual or automated test execution will appear here in the Test Results module. Finally, the Project Settings module. Here, we can create integrations with third-party tools. The out-of-the-box integrations supported are with Azure DevOps, Jira, ServiceNow, and X-Ray. We can also define custom fields here. Any custom field that we create will allow us to collect specific information from our users. It will be available to the users only in the corresponding module, which can be one of requirements, test cases, test sets, or test results. So let's create a new custom field. Let's call it Requirement Risk. Using this field, we will be able to identify a specific requirement risk and how serious it is. Let's select the object type. This will tell on which module it will apply. Now the default value, low risk, let's say. Then we'll enter hints, high risk, medium risk, and low risk. So when a user will input data from the front end, they will be able to see these options as suggested values and even select between them. Let's now save, and let's create another one for test case. Let's call it Test Priority and assign it to Test Case here under Object. The default volume is low, and let's also specify the hints: critical, very high, high, and low. Now we have defined two different custom fields, one for requirement and one for test case. Let's see what happens if we navigate to the Requirements module and create a new requirement. Let's call it, as a user, I should be able to log into the UI Bank web page. We'll create it and then open it. And here, in the Details tab, we can see the newly added Requirement Risk field. The default value is there, and we can select another one from the drop-down list. Or we can input any value, as the options in the drop-down work only as hints. Similarly, if we go to Test Cases and create a test case, We'll give it a comprehensive name. Then open it and go to the Details tab. And here's the user-defined field and the corresponding suggested values from which we can choose. Alright, so in this demo, we've seen the Test Manager user interface, created a new project, and briefly went over the different modules of a Test Manager project. Finally, we have created custom user fields and saw how we can change their values inside the objects. Thank you for watching and see you next time.